everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're here in the wonderful Hôtel de Ville of Paris, and it's a special day today. Today is the day that the drafters, the final day for the drafters to hand over their copy to the ministers for the COP21 climate deal. And I have with me Celia Blauel. She's the deputy mayor of Paris, and she's in charge of environment, sustainable development, water, canals, all that stuff here in Paris. Celia, thank you very, very much for being with us today. So like I said, today is the day the drafters hand over their copy to the ministers so that the ministers can take over and polish the discussions. Are you confident that a deal can be signed here by the end of next week for the COP21 climate?
Well, actually, I have to say I'm kind of a really optimistic person. So, yeah, I'm confident we can find something. But to be a good agreement, it has to be legally binding as well, setting the path to the 2-degree world. And as we're here in the Hôtel de Ville, it has also to take all the stakeholders in the next negotiation, next discussion, and like the non-state actors as cities.
But nevertheless, the cities felt that they had to do something on top of this COP21 climate deal. And how can you strike a difference? How can cities make a difference?
Cities, I think, makes a huge difference on climate actions because we are on the front line when it's talking about climate change. So for 10 years now, cities are actually acting to tackle climate change and to change the life for the people in our cities. For instance, in Paris, we have a climate action plan since 2007 with a main commitment to mitigate our GHG emission by 75% by 2050. And this is like inspiring all the public policies we have in housing, transportation, public procurements. And it's really interesting because it has long-term effects to save the planet, but also really short-term effects. And it's like it raises the quality of life for the people here. So what we want to say today is we're already acting to face climate change, but now we need more involvement from the states and we want our voices to be heard. That's why we have that big event here today in the Hôtel de Ville.
So just coming back to the city level, I'm a Parisian, you're a Parisian, and unfortunately the terrible attacks which occurred on November the 13th and beforehand previously in January. So are Parisians really responsive to the need to fight climate change? Do they see that it's something that is going to that needs to be done and it's going to tremendously change their lives? I mean, do you see it? Do you poll people? Do you get this from an everyday from the Parisian from the street?
Yeah, first that terrible attack that we had some 10 days ago were really horrible, and I think Paris is still under shocked, but I'm also very amazed by the capacity of people to say we're standing strongly, we want to go on living, and we're just like the people of Paris were the one recalling us about our motto, like fluctuat nec mergitur, Paris is floating but never sinking. So that means like the people of Paris are really, really strong and they want to go on. What is about climate change is that we have people here in Paris that feel really much concerned about that. We still have a lot to do to raise awareness, but already we have people concerned. For instance, we have a network today gathering 8% of the Paris population that is involved in sustainable developments. It's individuals, associations, and also companies that are joining that dynamic to tackle climate change. And I think the more we do things and the more people realize that we are on one hand tackling climate change, but on the other hand we are also strengthening the local community. That is something about climate change. All that project strengthens local communities, and I'm sure this is a whole then issue and that we're going to go further in the next year.
Are there anything that frustrates you? Is it going fast enough? Anne Hidalgo, the Paris mayor, she seems to be a doer. She's very keen on pushing things, but like you said, cities can do better and faster than states. We need now the state to. I mean, do you have huge frustrations or worries, concerns?
Huge frustration, I wouldn't say so. And that's right, Mayor Hidalgo is really pushy on that topic. I think if I would have a frustration today, was it like I'd like to go faster. And for that to do, I would need more national and also European involvement. We need other legal frameworks. We need money and finance to go further. And also, I would say innovation, and sometimes the whole administration that is really, really big in France doesn't go as fast as I would like to. But as you say, Mayor Hidalgo, but also her team is really pushy. So we're doing our best to go faster now.
Because I was wondering, one of the things that the Paris mayor doesn't have is a lot of powers like the New York mayor can have. I mean, is this something that you would like to push on the political agenda? Is this something that could likely emerge? For instance, Mayor Hidalgo cannot decide to prevent diesel trucks from running through Paris. I mean, that might be, a big issue. For some days we see that. So, is this something that could come on the political agenda? Is this something?
Well, actually, that's on the political agenda. It's true that in France we are in a really centralized state, and now cities are saying we are on the front line for many, many issues: climate change, social tension, air pollution, as you're saying about diesel. So now the idea is that we're saying very loudly, either the national state takes its responsibilities and go further on that topic, or you give more devolution to local government. And that is something, it's an issue for us in Paris that we have, and we say a lot and quite loudly as well on the air pollution issue. And this is also what we are saying on climate, and that's completely at the heart of the event today. It's to say cities, we are on the front line, we are the place of the solution, but we need help. We're doing a lot already on our own, but now we need a better coordination with all the levels.
Okay. How many French cities are involved in the initiative today?
Hi, this is a good question. I don't know in the end. A lot, but I don't know the figure.
Because I thought that perhaps, on the political level,
sorry,
she could
too
federate.
Early in the morning that I can remember the figure, but a lot of them.
Sorry, that was not meant to be the trick question.
No, but don't worry.
So this is going to, like you said, we need more funding, more financing. It's taking a huge amount of money, but as we discussed it, security also is taking a huge amount of money. Aren't you worried that for now, for the time being, or at least on the short term, these terrorism concerns are going to suck money away from climate change fight?
Well, I'm not worrying about Paris because I know the involvement. We all have the team around the mayor on that question. Let's see what's going to happen in the rest of France. But I really hope we're not going to do that, because I think to tackle climate change is not only about talking about environment. Tackling climate change is actually talking about our society, the model of society we're living in, how we live, how we consume, how we produce, how we build also social coherence. So I think it's very much important to develop even more climate policy. As I said before, it also helps to rebuild the local communities, and we need that so much. So I think climate policy are also a response to all that issue about resilience and also about social coherence. So I think definitely we need still everywhere in France to put money on climate as much or even more than on security.
Is the Paris town hall going over budget this year?
Is the Paris city going over budget this year because of climate change? And No, because it was planned in our budget, actually. Paris is giving 800 million euros for ecological transition on the next 5 years. So this is in our investment budget. It's planned. We're going to make building retrofitting, organic food in collective canteen, going on transportation policies, go on development of green energies, etc., etc. This is planned. This is in the budget, and this is like a huge budget that we are allocating.
Can you walk me through to the next project, for instance? I don't know if you know, guys, but we have the banks of the Seine that normally traffic is passing by, and part of it has been closed for pedestrians, and it turns out to be really great. I mean, there were a lot of criticism initially, but Parisians do tend to like it now. It's a very nice promenade, as we call it. So do you have other features like that or the project like that in the coming year or the year after? What are your plans?
We're gonna go further actually on the riverbank to go a longer promenade, as you say. And this is part as a big plan that we have. It's as much as improving quality of life, having more nature and places that you can go walking in the city, but it's also be a part of the plan to tackle air pollution in Paris that is getting a big issue on health. So we have to have less cars and much more other kind of mobility, bikes, walk, electrical car, etc., etc. Then we're going to have big changes in Paris because we're going to have big revolution things on the big places of Paris, Bastille, and some others. 7 big places of Paris are being completely changed. Again, much more places for people walking, biking, more nature also. What is really new in Paris is that we want to also put much more nature in the streets and have back water within the city, because we think that the city built themselves against the river, and now we have to change that, give back water in the city. And what would be a really nice thing is that we are trying to put back the river Seine in the city and allow people in some, let's say 10 years to be able to, or 8 years to be able to bath in it again.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very, very much, Celia, for your time with us. It's really appreciated.
Have a nice
day. That's
day.
it from us. Thank you very much.